From the get-go of my Christianity, the second time around from high school, there were always questions and doubts and things that kind of confused me. Um, I didn't want to think about them though, and I would suppress them, and sweep them under the rug, um, and I would ignore them. An example, on the cross in Matthew, there were two criminals that reviled Jesus, but when you look at Luke, only one of them reviled Jesus. So which is it? So I would see little items like that that confuse me. That's just one example. But as I would come across stuff um, such as that, or just absurdities in science, like God stopping the sun in the sky, which would have wreaked havoc on our planet, I ignored it. And eventually, as I continued to sweep things under the rug's lump got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, I started tripping over the rug. And I got to the point where I had to deal with the items under the rug. Honestly, deal with them. And that's kind of how that started. I got tired of the lumps in the rug.
Okay, what would you say to someone who said that their primary evidence for a God is answered prayers?
Wow. Well, you really can't argue with someone on that. Not because they're right, but that's kind of an internal evidence, kind of like feelings. Um, but I'd also say, what evidence is it that happened? I mean, because you could pray for the same things, to this tree right here, and if it happened, you could say, hey, the tree answered it. If it didn't happen, then it wasn't meant to be. If it did happen later on, and 6 months from now, then it wasn't the right time. But either way, this tree, this stump right here, answered my prayer. Okay, so no one can argue with that. So there's really no sense in arguing or debating with a believer on that issue. But at the same time, there's no way that they can prove that their prayers were answered by God.
What are the benefits of faith of Christianity? And on the flip side, what are the detriments?
Um, I can really only speak from my own experience. I think everybody's experience is a little different. For me, like I stated earlier, I found father figures, I found family, and I found community. Um, I found a place where I could serve, a place where I found hope, a place that answered my eternal question. You see, here's the thing with church and religion, especially within Christianity, it's a one-stop shop for everything. You know, it's the Walmart for all of life's answers. You know, you've got your friends, you have your community. Uh, Eternity's been answered. It answers everything. Some of the negative aspects, some people involved in religion are going to have different um, pains, especially if you're involved in more of a cultish type religion. Um, a few things. One, you're evil, you're disgusting, and you deserve death. How can you tell a child that? How can you tell a person that? Why am I, why are you so disgusting and evil? Why do we deserve death? Two, um, love. Is it really love if there's an ultimatum? Love me or I will burn you in hell for eternity. Seriously, stop and think about that for 1 second. Love me or I will burn you in hell for eternity. That's not love, you know? I believe that you and I and most people can love better than the God of the Bible. So for me, some of the most hurtful things is just telling people that they're evil and that they deserve to be burned forever. Um, the inability to think. And there is a lot of almost mind control in there. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." Don't use your brain. Just follow me. And in the Bible telling you basically what to believe, what to do, how to act, I think is very hurtful. The other thing is Christians, for me, this is my experience. Christians tend to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Standoffish to other people in the world. You're gay, I'm not going to associate with you. You know, you do this, I don't want to associate with you. Since I've been a non-believer or atheist or what have you, I've been involved with some atheistic groups and meetup groups and this and that, and I've found more acceptance and love within these groups than I did in the church. And that was one of the biggest surprises I found since walking away from Christianity. I found that non-believers and atheists tend to be more accepting and loving and caring. Not to say that Christians are not, or believers are not. And again, this is my experience. Yeah. I left the Baptist church. I grew up Baptist, but then I didn't really go to the Baptist church anymore because all the denominations have their, I guess, labels, their issues, their, I don't know, like people say, oh, the Methodists are liberal and the Catholics drink wine and they're not really Christians and they molest children. The Baptists are basically, if you're not Baptist, we don't want anything to do with you. The Baptists tend to be more, and I can say this because I grew up Baptist. The legalism is what really got me. I can remember when there was that whole Southern Baptist convention deal where they wanted to boycott Disney World and land because they supported gay rights, and another example of Christians, not really being loving. And I remember on the news when they were taking a vote, they had it they had footage on the news, and during the vote, they were voting to boycott Disney World or not. And when they asked the question, raise your hand if we're going to boycott, I saw all these people raising their hands to boycott. And when I saw that, I can remember, I think I was in high school or maybe in college at the time, I can remember even then going, wow, that seems an awfully lot like hate. Let's raise our hand, let's boycott them because they support gay rights. They hire gay people. Looking back, I can remember going, why didn't they do the opposite? Why didn't they do what Jesus would have done? Why didn't Jesus went to the Pharisee's house? Zacchaeus went up on the sycamore tree, and Jesus said, come down. I'm going to go eat at your house. Why didn't the Baptists do that? Why didn't they go to Disney World? If they don't like their movies, don't rent their movies. Don't buy that's the power of consumers. But go to the parks and love on the gay people. Which, they don't have a problem anyways, but that's me now looking back. But anyways, so no, I would always tell people I'm a recovering Baptist even when I was a Christian.